Hello class, welcome to my discussion on Chapter 12. Gender violence and the media are intricately connected threads woven into the fabric of our society. I will discuss and explore three critical questions in my video discussion on gendered violence. The first question that I chose to answer was Number 1, our class and the textbook emphasize that gender is constructed, not just biologically determined. What does it mean to say that gender is constructed, and how does this idea relate to the discussions about gendered violence? Explain how different constructs of gender can be linked to violence and give examples. In conversations about gender today, one aspect of gendered violence stands out to me as especially important: the pervasive issue of domestic violence. Domestic violence remains a critical issue because it often occurs behind closed doors and hidden from the public. It affects individuals of all genders, but disproportionately impacts women and marginalized communities. The issue is critical now more than ever due to the increasing awareness and the global push for gender equality. Addressing domestic violence is essential for several reasons. First, we must challenge the normalization of control and abuse in intimate relationships. It compels society to confront the underlying power dynamics and gender inequalities that fuel this often secret violence. Different ways of addressing domestic violence, such as legal reforms, awareness campaigns, and support services, can positively change our social lives. Legal reforms ensure perpetrators are held accountable, while awareness campaigns educate the public and empower survivors. Support services provide essential resources and a sense of community for those affected. When society actively combats domestic violence, it promotes a culture of respect and equality. It also breaks the cycle of violence, potentially reducing the future incidences and creating a safer environment for everyone. In tackling domestic violence, we not only should protect the individuals, but also pave the way for more just and In tackling domestic violence, we not only provide individuals, but also we pave the way for a more just and equitable society. Education is key, I believe, as our text illuminates on page 248, showing a diagram of the cycle of intimate partner violence. Stage 1, tension. Stage 2, explosion. And stage 3, violent or remorse. Stage 4, the honeymoon phase. It's often in the stages 3 and 4 of the remorse and the honeymoon phase that work to keep the abused partner in the violent relationship. I know this was the case when I was involved in a domestic violence relationship in my past, and it took a lot longer than I had expected to get out of the situation and heal. And when you live with a partner and all of your finances are tied together, it can make it so difficult to leave. The second question that I chose to discuss and answer is, do you believe that violence in the media leads to real-world violence? What steps do you think society and people should take to address this issue? Violence in the media is a contentious issue. Research indicates a correlation between media violence and aggressive behavior, particularly among impressionable audiences like children and adolescents. As our book highlights on page 255, violence is customary, not unusual, in movies, television programs, music, and video games. This constant exposure that we have to the violent imagery can desensitize and normal aggression as a way to solve problems. Addressing media violence requires a multifaceted approach. Media producers have a responsibility to portray violence thoughtfully and avoid glorified depictions. Regulation and age-appropriate content ratings play a crucial role in protecting young viewers. Parents and guardians should also play a vital role. By monitoring and guiding children's media consumption, they can minimize any potential negative impacts. Education systems should incorporate media literacy programs to help young people critically analyze and understand what they're watching and understand the consequences of violence. Promoting a culture of media literacy and responsibilities can reduce the influence of violent media. Encouraging critical thinking and promoting nonviolent conflict resolution are essential steps in this direction. By taking these steps, society can address the issue of media violence and reduce its impact on real-world behavior and promote a healthier media environment. And the third question that I chose to answer today was, think about the conversations happening around gender today. Is there one aspect of gender violence that stands out to you as especially important? Why do you think the issue is so critical right now, and how do you think different ways of addressing it might change our social lives? So our understanding of gender has evolved significantly, emphasizing that gender is constructed, not merely biologically determined. When we say gender is constructed, we understand that society and culture shape our perceptions and expectations of gender roles. This influences how people express their gender and how they are perceived and treated by others. This concept is critical in discussions about gendered violence. The construction of gender roles often reinforces power imbalances and justifies abusive behaviors. For example, traditional ideas of masculinity equals strength and dominance, while femininity is associated with submissiveness. Different constructions of gender can be linked to violence in various ways. For another example, toxic masculinity can perpetuate aggressive behaviors, leading to higher incidences of violence against others, while rigid gender norms can marginalize those who do not conform, subjecting them to discrimination and violence. By challenging and redefining these norms, we can create a more inclusive society. Encouraging diverse gender expressions and promoting gender equality are essential steps. Education and advocacy play pivotal roles in this transformation. As our text highlights on page 259, we need to provide safe refuges for victims of violence and provide counseling for both victims and perpetrators. This must happen to break this cycle of domestic violence. Acknowledging that gender is constructed allows us to dismantle harmful stereotypes and build a society where everyone is free to express their identity without fear. We must continue to explore and address these complex issues so we can move towards a future where respect, equality, and understanding are the standard. Together, we can make a difference. Thank you.